Hi, AT from CNC at Home. I want to do another slate coaster. Again, something for the recent trip to Memphis where we did some recording. One of the songs that we're doing has a reference to an old classic car called an Imperial. And I went and found an old logo for that, and I want to put that onto a coaster. Let's start out by opening up the coaster template and go from there. As a quick refresher for our tile template, when we're using a slate tile, we start out with a 100 millimeter square. Inside of that, I have my safe zone that I have a 88.9 millimeter square. The tiles have a kind of random broken edge to them. You can etch on it, and I have done that before, and you can get some neat effects with it. This particular one, I want to stay with the flat area, and that's kind of what this safe zone is. So as long as I stay within this inner square, I should be good. Let's go ahead and bring that image in and see what we can do with it. Here we can see our Imperial logo. It's kind of faint. That's probably because my layer is not set to output. There we go. That looks a little better. Still kind of light. I could do this as an image. There's some issues with that. If we just take a quick preview, we can see what I'm talking about. In the preview, you can see all these little black specks, and the laser is going to want to hit each one of those. So if I were to do this, I'd need to get that all cleaned up. What I want to try doing is a trace on this and turn it into a vector. If we highlight our image and then right click, we can come down to trace image and see what that looks like. Okay, just off the top, it doesn't look too bad, but it actually does look really bad when you start looking deeply into it. Down here we can see that several things are being missed. This whole secondary line, this kind of shadow line that goes all the way around, that's being missed. Much of the detail in the crown is being missed. These little dots are being missed. What I want to do is change my threshold so that I get more of this information. So I'm just going to slide this up and keep a look at some of that. So we look here, this is all looking good. We're starting to get some of this extra line, starting to get some of it here, starting to get some of that crown up here. Let's keep going. Looking at the top of the crown to see if we can get to a good spot there. And the problem is we've gone too far now. We're losing those little dots, but we have the outer edge. So if I back down, we get some of those dots. But it's just too faint of an image to really get anything better. The word Imperial keeps going from getting all of the stuff to not getting quite enough. Again, too much of a contrast between all of the different shades of gray. I don't think this is going to get me a good trace. This isn't too bad here, but we're missing a bunch of stuff. Getting a little bit up here. Let's go ahead and use this just for a moment and so we can see what it looks like. Looking at the lines, in general it looks okay. It's just there's a lot of artifacts where it didn't get what we really wanted. Some of it we could clean up, others it just didn't grab enough information. Let's fill this so we can take a better look. Again, it doesn't look too horrible, but up in the crown we've lost any little detail that we had. This extra line around the word inside, that's too spotty. We do have a couple artifacts in here. All in all, this really isn't turning into a vector very well, and that's due to the original image just not being solid enough. Unfortunately, this is one of the best ones that I could find for this. What I ended up doing was taking this image into Photoshop and just cleaning it up a bit. Let's go ahead and pull that image in and see what it looks like. At first glance, it maybe doesn't look a whole lot different. It will when we look at the preview. Let's go in there real quick. In the preview, you can see we don't have all of those extra little dots on the outside. We don't have real great coverage up here for those little details. Not sure that's something that we can fix even on this. Let's go ahead and get this resized so that it fits nicely in our template. Okay, that's snapped to the center. Let's resize from the center here. Let's just make this bigger until it looks about right. That looks pretty good. Just move our template on top here. Just get that slid down so we can see it. Okay, we're kind of right to the edge. I'm thinking of adding some other data on here too. So I want to slide our image up. So instead of having it centered, I want to have it a little bit closer to the top. Go about there. What I'm thinking is I want to put some text down here. I'm going to put 1723. Looks a little big, so let's shrink that up. Maybe something about like that. We do want to make sure that it's centered, so let's make sure we center that. Okay, and maybe just a little bit higher. Something like that. How does that look in our preview? The number is definitely going to come out very solid because we have good control over that. This image, well, we'll see. It's going to be hit and miss. Let's get our parameters set. On our image, we want to go into our material library, slate, black, fill. Nope, it's not fill. This is an image. Let's go ahead and assign that. Take a quick peek at our preview. Okay, this whole thing looks like it's going to take about 16.5 minutes. I'm not sure if there's a whole lot we can do about that. Maybe if we change the scan to vertical. Let's see what that does. So we got 16.5. Going to a vertical scan has made that worse. We've added over a minute to that. So let's go back to horizontal like we usually do. I'm not sure there's really anything else we can do to improve on this other than what would happen if we split this image in half. So we have a lot of horizontal motion here that we really don't get benefit from. Let's give that a quick try. I want to create a tool here to cut to, so I'm just going to make a square. Do that approximately in the middle, about like that. I'll put that on a tool layer just because I can. All right, what I want to do is select the image. Okay, and then I'll do a Control Shift and grab that extra square rectangle that we made. And then I'm going to do a cut shapes. All right, so what that should have done is created two shapes. Let's take a peek at how that affected our cut time or our burn time. That's very interesting. That also made it take more time. What's going on here? Let's take a peek and see how that's cutting. See, it's doing half at a time like we wanted. But we lost some efficiency then somewhere too, which I find interesting because we've reduced all this white area. Used to be movement where we didn't need to cut. However, we have lost some efficiency up here where we're getting lots of horizontal. So that ended up not helping us at all. So let's just do a couple undos here and get back to our single image. Make sure we're still at our good cutting parameter, our good cutting time. Okay, so yep, we are back to the basically just under 17. It was interesting. I was expecting this to be quite a bit better for savings. I'm sure we could, if we spent more time, maybe we could slice this horizontally to have this as one. If we could maybe get something in here so the word Imperial was one. I don't. It's going to end up taking me more time to do that than we're going to save. Let's go ahead and send this to the laser and see what it looks like. I'm going to use the P7 to make sure I'm set up on the correct laser. I'm not. So let's get over to the Atom Stack P7. Go ahead and go into the material settings. Make sure that I have the correct parameters. Looks like I don't have anything set other than fill for this. So let's take a quick peek at what that looks like. Looks like I've pretty much set the same way as the other lasers, so that's going to be a good spot for us to start. Let's go ahead and okay, everything looks good. Let's go ahead and add that as a cutting parameter for this. So I'm going to create from layer. This is going to be slate. No thickness. And the title is going to be, well, yeah, it'll be etch because we're etching, and this will be image. So etch image. Let's click OK. And then for our fill, we'll go ahead and assign our burn parameters to that so this works properly. Let's take a quick peek at our burn times now. On this other machine, we have virtually the same burn parameters, so for some reason this is going to take 10.5 minutes. I like the sound of that. Now that we have all of that set, let's go ahead and send this to the laser and see how it burns. Hey, before we head over and do the project, I've got something on my desk you want to see. Come on in here, let's take a look at this. Check it out. It's the new 3-in-1 magnetic wireless charger from Imperial. Here's the box. Pretty cool. You can charge your phone here if you've got the wireless charging system. You can hang like an iWatch on the back and get that charged. And then down here, if you have the AirPods, there's a little charging spot for that. And I love this part. There's a little on-off switch here. I just click it. Love that green. Green's one of my favorite. No, it is my favorite color. So I was pleased that the color on this was green. That's really cool. Has a USB-C charging port on the back. Comes with the cable and a 20-watt wall wart. That's pretty good sized. This is something that Imperial sent me that they wanted me to do a quick review on. I think it looks pretty cool. I will have a link for this down in the description if you're interested in looking at this. Let's go ahead and get to the project. Okay, I have the zeroing fixture in place. I have the tile in place. The laser's focused. We just need to zero it and get the burn started. That looks like it turned out quite a bit better than I thought it would, which is fantastic. I don't have to redo it. If you're curious about the 1723, that number is an Easter egg related to our recording session down in Memphis. It's the street address of the house that most of us stayed at while we were down there. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the content of our channel, think about subscribing, as that really helps us out. Enjoy doing your CNC at home projects.